Okay, welcome to another episode of Hoololio. Today in English with Tereza Iofciu. I'm sitting in a factory Hamburg, Brooklyn, and Tereza is also sitting in Hamburg, right?
Yes, but in my own flat.
Okay, yeah. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Okay.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to get to know you, but maybe you want to introduce yourself for our listeners.
Yeah. So I'm Tereza. I live in Hamburg since 2011 already. I originally come from Romania. I studied computer science a long time ago in Romania, and then I moved to Hanover to do the Diplomarbeit. And then I stayed and I did my PhD in computer science and data science. And then while I was doing my PhD, like this whole field of data science kind of got invented. And then after my PhD, I got a job at Xing in Hamburg. In the data science team, which was called content discovery, because as I was like back in the day, it was not really a thing. And then after that, I went to my taxi. Now it's called Free Now. And I went through several roles: data engineering, product owner in data science, and then leading the data science team. And since end of 2020, I'm working at neuefische, which is school for boot camps for various topics like web development, data analytics, data science. And we help people who want to change their career from something else, like academia in biology or software development or any kind of like background in tech or around tech, to switch to a domain, to switch to data science, to a career in data science. And most of our bootcamps then are focused on helping people learn how to work in tech, successfully work in teams in tech.
So neuefische is really solving a problem of the market, right? Because I'm also in tech and I know that we have a lack of skilled people, and you are educating people who want to join that industry.
Yes. Yeah. So I think for some people we literally offer digitization. For some people we offer learning how to collaborate, cooperate, and deliver results in an iterative way. And for some people, they learn about data and using their previous experience, their previous domain, and then transitioning with that experience to a new domain. So trying to get people not to start from scratch just when they change the domain sometimes, but pick up from where they left. Yeah. But this is what I do at work.
And it's not even the reason why we invited you.
Exactly. But that's not the only thing. So I'm also involved quite a lot in the Python community. I'm part of the diversity and inclusion work group with the PSF, also in the code of conduct work group with the Python Software Foundation. I'm also part of the DISC committee, which is diversity and inclusion in scientific computing, which is a non-focus for the non-focus organization. And what else am I doing? Yeah, PyLadies Hamburg. I'm a board member on the Python Software Verband, which is the entity behind PyCon Germany and the conference. And so this is what I do in my free time. Where it's like kind of, free time. And I also started this year my side gig on coaching for data leadership and inclusive leadership. I started with a small experiment of offering free coaching lessons in exchange for feedback. And now I finished that experiment. And
Very good.
So
how did you start that side business? So where did the idea come from?
I think about 3 years ago, one of my friends from Berlin told me that she has a life coach. I'm like, huh, you have a life coach? What do you have a life coach? I'm like, because I was like, I have a therapist. So what do you also have is that, so yeah, life coach is not a therapist. So like 3 years ago, I had a therapist and then also a life coach. And I was doing, so I did, I think since 3 years, I have a session about like once a month. And I kind of liked it. And then I thought, but of course, like I'm not, I don't want to be as general as life coaching, and I wanted to be a bit more specific. And I thought, like, if I want to do something when I grow up, like of all the things that are like to do with working in tech at the moment, I prefer enabling other people to work in tech rather than like I don't really have the attention span to do the hands-on work anymore. So I prefer just helping other people do it.
Cool. So you liked coaching very much, and you combined it with your professional expertise.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, because coaching. So with the boot camps, we do a lot of training, but I think I prefer the coaching part, which is also like a bit more challenging to do because, yeah. It's not about giving people advice and telling them what to do anymore, but like really asking a lot of questions and helping them get to the answers that they already know, but they don't know that they know. So, yeah.
And why did you decide to do? I know you call that by yourself data and inclusive leadership coaching. So data, I understand now because of your professional background. What is so? Why inclusive? What is the challenge behind that topic, diversity and inclusion?
Yeah, I think we are in 2023.
Yes.
And I think the expectation that anybody has for leadership these days is to be inclusive. I don't imagine anybody, like, if you've experienced inclusive leadership anywhere, I can't imagine a person that has experienced inclusive leadership somewhere to go and work in a place where the leadership is not inclusive. And I think the world is way more connected compared to before, where you could work in isolation and nobody else would know what you're doing, how you're doing it. You didn't have visibility in how other people are working or being. And these days, because there's so much information out there, and you can talk to other people, and your expectations start aligning with what is like the general expectation in the world for leadership and so on. And so I've done some courses on also inclusive leadership, and I thought, well, I realized that that's also the style of leadership that I prefer having. And we often, remember most of the time we work with bad managers, right? And
that's just, okay. You say that so easily. Yeah, it was most of the time you're just working with bad managers.
Yeah, so exactly. So I think I am thinking, like, if we manage to convince more people that it's worth investing in their leadership skills as much as they invest in their technical skills, then I think our work environment would just be much better in general. Because you can have an inclusive team, right? But if the manager layer in the company is not inclusive, this is not really a sustainable setup, right? At some point, things won't work out. I think now, why should companies care about? So all I said now about this is why people care about inclusive leadership. But in the end, why should companies care about inclusive leadership? In the end, they can think about it from a financial perspective. If you have, so there's plenty of studies now that show that successful companies are diverse, and the more diverse a company is, the more likely is to be profitable and successful. You cannot really have diversity without inclusivity. And on the other side, the products that we build are for the population, and the population out there is diverse. And then when the people that are building the products are not diverse, then there's also the problem that people don't even realize that they're building products and that nobody wants or needs, or that they are not fitting the public. So I think, so there's the financial incentive for inclusivity, for diversity and inclusion, which in the end also helps the people around. So I think.
Yeah. And it's also about retaining people, right? To keep them in the company, because that's also connected to this lack of skilled people. And I think companies who are offering inclusive environment with inclusive leadership are competing better against other companies, right? Yeah.
They have access to completely different talent pool than the companies that are not inclusive, so to say.
Totally.
So we saw it already with like COVID, where the whole discussion of like, okay, if everybody's working now remote, does it mean we can hire from all over the world? I don't need to hire anymore from the little city I'm living in, right? I can hire from anywhere in the world. Sure, but if you hire from anywhere in the world, you have to make your environment also work for anybody from wherever you hire in the world, right? Then if you think about like the fact that the job market, the job descriptions, mostly everywhere you look, especially in data, everybody wants to hire seniors, principals, nobody wants to hire juniors. And it's not really about the technical skills that people are scared of, that they don't want to, people can't learn. They are more scared. We don't really have a platform to help people that, need to learn how to collaborate, how to to grow in the workplace. And
basic working rules, right? To how to collaborate, how to cooperate, how to communicate. It's getting complex if you have different people in your team. So I know a lot of people, they are very interested in being an inclusive leader. So how would you define an inclusive leader? So what is it for you? What values? How do you live inclusive leadership?
Yeah. So I think, so for me, like inclusive leadership started like with bias awareness. So first, starting to identify my own biases. Honestly, like if you're a person that didn't grow up to 16 years old in 5 different countries, you're more likely very biased. Like your brain is designed to be biased from your like little bubble you grew up in. And it takes I think it's a whole journey to start being aware of your unconscious biases and work on them and try to be reflective on that. And it's also a very uncomfortable journey, right? You realize that you haven't always been a nice person. And also without even knowing about that, you were not a nice person. So this is the first part. So basically understanding your biases, understanding your privilege, and understanding the role your privilege has, how it has helped you get where you are, how other people around you don't have that privilege, how do you use your privilege to help other people. So I think this is one side. Another thing is, again, emotional intelligence. I think this is in general part of, so important like for leadership in general. So emotional intelligence, to be able to understand other people and situations, and also cultural intelligence, to understand other cultures or be curious. And then that comes about. Of course, you can't expect to be good at all of this, but you have to be curious about being good at all of that, right? Like be curious about understanding other cultures, instead of assuming that you know everything about someone else. Be curious that, you know, maybe you're wrong most of the time. And yeah, like be curious about other people's opinion, especially other people that are not like you. And because it's really easy to agree with people that are like you, right? I mean, you see eye to eye, you have the same background, you most likely have similar opinions, you communicate in the same style. Even if you have different opinions, you won't annoy each other. And the moment you have someone that is a little bit different, they will communicate differently, they will have different points of view, different starting points for their perspectives, and the communication gets a little bit tricky. And what else? I think another part, which is, yeah, like being able to realize that you have to change and adapt to situations. So this adaptability and like be ready to have your mind changed. Not this is how I've been always doing things, and this is how it works, and this is, you know, this is how it's done. But like really like think about when a situation goes badly, instead of assuming like, oh yeah, I mean, the other person must have done something wrong, or there was nothing I could have done, you know, but like think about like, maybe is there a perspective that I haven't thought of? And yeah, like different perspective, and ask and be ready to ask that question also to someone else, and to be told, it's like, yeah, you totally were wrong about this, and being able to, yeah, take lessons, and like instead of like being afraid of mistakes, be like learning from them.
So you already did some coaching sessions with some leaders. What is your result here so far? What pain points do they have in being an inclusive leader?
Well, I think so one of the biggest pain points, and I think this is a little bit like, it's not like, you know, necessarily people's fault, right? So I mean, it is, but it isn't. But so there's a concept called the privilege hazard, and this is when a group of people are the same and they don't understand, they are privileged, and because they are in a bubble, they don't even know that they have a privilege. But they're a group of people, and they're really empowered in their opinion and their privilege. And well, we all know which majority of people is like that, especially in leadership in Germany. So there's very few people of color in leadership in Germany. There's very few women in leadership in Germany. So now, unfortunately, the white men, they've never really been exposed to being a woman, right? So like they don't even, like, it's just like having issues, situations where you've never been in the shoes of the other people around you that are different, and it's really hard to relate to those situations from the perspective of the other person. And I think this is most of the situations that people have been, you know, like really needing a little bit, like needing this extra, like this a little bit of help to get to really see the other perspective, and really like understand that yes, that is like another perspective and it's valid, and the situations that they were in are thus explainable. And not just the other person is kind of saying weird stuff about me, or, you know, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, there's nothing I could have done to do it differently. So, yeah, like, I think sometimes people are not aware when they're like, for example, mansplaining, right? And it's really hard to explain to a person. It's like when you're in a situation to tell a person, yeah, you've done that. And like, and for them to kind of take a step back and say, okay, so how could I have done it differently to not do it? Like basically say, how could I have said, like, I supported the other person's point of view and then added something instead of just adding something or repeating it and not attributing it to the other person. So this is just like one example of, situations.
And what do you think in general? What kind of people are coming to you at the moment? Leaders who are already aware that they want to change and be inclusive? Or leaders who cannot relate at all to these facts, these examples you just mentioned?
I think because I have it explicitly on my website that I'm offering inclusive leadership. So far, I didn't have anybody coming to me saying they don't agree that they have to become more inclusive or they don't see the benefit of that. So no, I think most of everybody that came is already like curious to say they have been in the situation of managing diverse teams and working in international work environments, and they have realized, like having conflict at work is taking so much energy, and it's slowing everything down, right? So if you don't know how to deal with that conflict, or you don't know how to create a safe work environment for everybody to be able to share their opinion without being judged, without their opinion being disregarded, because not everybody is like a extrovert or can always speak up whenever they have something on their mind, and I also had on the other side, I think, other people that come to coaching are people who are like on the other coin of this, right? So they are people coming from underrepresented groups in TESH, and they are people that are a bit more quiet, more introvert, and asking, okay, how can I advance in my career in this world? It's like, it's, like if you're loud and visible at work, you get advanced in your career, right? I mean, somebody sees
attention, right? This is how
you get
works
attention,
right now. Yeah.
Attention, and then the attention gives you more attention, and it piles up, right? I mean, like you go to that dinner with like some C-level people, and then they know your name, and then you come out, you pop up in conversations. So how do people that are not like that succeed? So and that's where inclusive leadership is also about.
Yeah.
Identifying that you have people in your team that you need to sponsor, even though those people don't ask you to.
Yeah.
Right?
I really thought about this topic a lot, because I also am criticizing that, because in the end, our working culture is a lot about, okay, we have a meeting and now the loudest person is going to win with its arguments, because, it's he or she is very good in creating attention and formulating arguments. But what about people who are introverts and need time to think about their arguments? And what I really liked as a action item, and I read about it, is inclusive meeting rules, where you say, okay, the agenda of the meeting is already set. Everyone has time to think about it. Everyone can maybe also leave notes on a board or something, so you don't have to be in the middle of the attention. And to think about such rules to break that pattern, right? Of this, attention.
Yeah. Sometimes in the boot camps, like we have like very diverse groups of people like attending a boot camp, and it always grows after like a couple of weeks. You notice that there are some people that are very quiet, and there are some people that are taking a lot of space. But it's also weird to tell people, hey, don't take so much space, or because you don't know. Sometimes the ones that are quiet actually like being quiet, and they are happy when other people just ask a lot of questions. So what I used to do sometimes as a trick to bring a little bit awareness to the room, that my expectation is to have a little bit more balance, is to pick a random day in the bootcamp and say, today we're going to celebrate the International Inclusivity Day. And I would like anybody who's like not usually asking questions to ask questions and be part of the conversation. Everybody who's been talking the last few days, you can do that in writing. So
you try to turn it around.
Yeah, turn it around, but also in like a little bit of a playful way, and to get people to realize, wait, when they say everybody who's asking a lot of, that they mean me. Yeah, okay, yeah, indeed, I did ask a lot of questions, and there are some people that never talk. Because I think.
So you open up the space for the people who are talking a lot to reflect on themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, because I think sometimes this, it's just, this is a pattern that has been like going on for a long time. And this is, again, like people are really not aware sometimes when they do this. Of course, there's some people that are like really, gaming everything in life, right? And they're like very intentional about taking space and everything. But let's assume that not everybody's that evil, right? So some people are just, I think, also not really aware that they're taking space from other people so much. Or that maybe sometimes they can take a step back and let another person. And so that's what happens with the people that are coming and like say, how do I advance in my career, right? And I say like, well, the thing is that because of this social dynamics that we have at the moment in meetings, in communication at work, people that are quiet, their managers and people around usually assume that they are quiet. So the loud people assume that the quiet people are quiet because they have nothing to say. So you need to, in a way, do some exercises to bring awareness that you have something to say. It doesn't have to be like, try to write down a question. Not everybody's able to instantly perform and ask a question and add something, but maybe you need preparation, and then write down like a question and make it a thing that you say something every meeting. It won't be as natural as for the other people that are always saying something, of course, but you need to realize that invisible work is indeed invisible. Even if you thought about it in your head and you had an awesome idea and you never said it, nobody will know about it. And at the moment, still people need to kind of know about it.
Okay. Interesting.
This is a little bit managing up, right? This is for people that, because ideally they would have an inclusive leader.
Yeah,
that would notice that there's a pattern, and they would try to investigate: is this person quiet because they have nothing to say, or is this person quiet because there's no space?
Okay. That's cool that you that you open in our discussion these two paths, right? Yeah, so that also inclusive leaders should be aware of, there's a pattern of attention. How can I break the pattern, and how can I be aware of more introverts employees, but also for the employees to maybe go out of their comfort zone or change behavior or make work visible is very important. Yeah.
So I think it's giving people advice sometimes that if you don't like it at work, go somewhere else, you'll find a better place with a better manager. And that is a very privileged advice, right? Not everybody really affords to be able to find the best working place. And then if you can't, then you need to sometimes have to learn how to manage your working place. So manage your coworkers, like what do you have to do in order to advance in the reality that we live in, right? I mean, you.
So not only the topic is interesting in this episode, but also how you do it. So, because you are head of data science at neuefische for 80%, and 20% of your time you are building the side business of inclusive and data leadership. Can you elaborate why you decide for that model?
I decided to kind of take it slow, test to see how it works, because I'm also like with this whole side business in more of a discovery phase, and I decided to. Of course, I had the option to go, if I knew exactly what I was doing, to say, okay, this is how much it costs, and this is how much people have to pay, and then I really decided for doing it like for free for like 5 months now, to collect some information of what are the struggles that people are going through, and what are the challenges, and what kind of help can I offer. And so for that, I think, if I would do it full time, I would be a little bit faster at it. But on the other side, I think I'm also interested, like long term, to go a little bit in more towards executive coaching also. And for that, I like to have the work experience around it. Working in like more upper management, interacting with upper management, and having my own fun lessons.
Yeah, understand. So you are validating your coaching.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm basically trying to get like not just, so of course I could do a lot of courses on how to do coaching, and I could do a lot of courses about what leadership is and what executive leadership is. But I think having practical experience together with trainings that I might do is also valuable. So yeah.
And how do you feel with this model at the moment? Is it challenging?
Yeah, it's quite challenging. First, I decided not to do like 4 days and 3 days. Like I could have done like a 3-day weekend and like have a day off. But I decided to have 5 short days, which everybody who's been through Kurzarbeit remembers is the worst model that a company can have, because nobody really manages to work less. So I had to start being very disciplined and start time tracking for the first time in my life. So yeah. And I think it's really hard to disconnect sometimes, from one type of work, another type of work, and also like pursuing further education, and finding like longer periods of time of focus. And I think that's kind of the biggest struggle. And I think when things at work are exhausting, it kind of depletes my creativity.
I mean, it's like already used.
My creativity bandwidth, because, and I think that's, and then when you don't have creativity bandwidth, it's like kind of hard to get excited about random stuff in other departments.
I can imagine. I also imagine that your mental load must be very high, and that you need some break times between these two topics before you move on. Yeah,
I'm knitting, and at the moment I'm knitting and I watch a lot of TV shows. And I started doing sports. So yeah. So I think exactly. So I need like the time offs. I need them to be a little bit like manual stuff, manual labor, not yet something yet again something in front of the computer. So
yeah, believe so. Yeah. Well, and what is good about this model? So would you recommend it? So imagine that people listen to our podcast. They are interested in how can I build something with purpose? How can I involve myself into something? Now you have a model where you are employed, but you build your own purpose-driven own business. Would you recommend it? And what is good about it?
So I think for people that want to have a little bit like financial stability, it's definitely a way to go. For people who manage to save a lot of money and, or inherited a lot of money. I wish I also inherited a lot of money. Anyways, so for people...
Everybody does.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people that went on the path of taking time off, like Arbeitslosigkeit, and like really taking time off and do it like that. And that would be, I think, faster, right? But if one...
Faster in building the business, yeah?
Exactly. So faster in building the business, faster in like be that person who can post something on LinkedIn every week and, write blog articles, learn a lot. So yeah, I mean, it would be like a full-time job. But I think for this to work, one does need an accountability partner.
For this coaching business? Or?
For working with this 80% and 20% on the side.
Do you wish for yourself an accountability partner?
No, I have
you
one.
Have one.
And that's, I think that's really like, I was just chatting. So I still have my life coach, Mary. She's got her site is called Life Worth Living. So she's from Canada, and we meet on Zoom once a month. And sometimes, like the things that I really like, that I'm like really procrastinating on things, like posting some, like it's so random what I end up procrastinating sometimes. And those things sometimes we just do them together. So, like and then she's also writing, every 2 weeks. So what's the status of this? How far did you get with that? So I think this is really helpful sometimes. I don't know. Some people are really disciplined and they don't need that and they can do. But for the people that are not really disciplined about everything in life, I think having an accountability partner, a buddy, can work. Can help.
Nice. Yeah, I heard it a lot that people are recommending that accountability partners are so useful to have them.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you also do your podcast with, you're not doing it alone, right? And you do have different flows of energy, right? At some point you have more energy and at some point your colleague has more energy, right? And it's like...
True, yeah. Yeah. Hardy, we miss you here.
Yes. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, the podcast was very fast set up. If you ask me here on that topic, yeah, but 2 persons is very. Yeah, it was easy. It was more easier than I expected it because we could split up the work and different flows of energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then good. You get motivated when you see that the other one is working on it, and they get motivated. Yeah. They see it's like, I mean, I think humans
of
are
a team.
Social beings, right? Exactly, benefits of the team. The team is greater than the sum of the parts. So, yeah,
nice. Yeah. So to sum up, you would recommend it for people who need a little bit financial stability because, you are employed and you have a stable income. But if you want to set it up fast, then full risk is also an option.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Yeah, so I would also recommend it, like, for example, I'm also thinking of like doing this in general. Like, I cannot imagine myself 10 years from now really like working in yet another company, leading a data science team or data department and getting excited about whatever gets built, And I'm really like, I had the same, like, already when I switched to neuefische from working at FreeNow, where I was working in product, data science product. And I had the same already at neuefische. I was like, it's so cool to get other people they are so excited to learn about data science. And I'm like not really that excited anymore about doing data science, but I'm really happy to teach other people. And
I'm excited about other people now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think this is, it's just different life stages. And I think it's also important to be able to do something that one feels good about doing and have options in life.
So looking to the future, looking to this diverse society we are building and inclusive leaders, what would you wish for the future? What is your personal wish?
I think my personal wish would be that upper management would be more diverse. Like way more diverse. Like there's almost zero diversity at the moment. So I think, and you feel it, right? And it's, but I don't know if it's going to be in my lifetime, the problem solved.
Oh,
but
no, don't say that.
No, okay, I will say that.
I hope we talk in 10 years again, and then we say, that's so diverse, yeah.
I think I just read that UNESCO now also has a thing for diversity in STEM. So I should be more explicit about that, how it's called. So I think there's more investment in diversity in general.
At the moment, I see also an increasement, I think also the importance is rising because of the lack of skilled people. And then there is a pain point, right? A real pain point. We miss skilled people, and you cannot only hire white German people. You need to be different and diverse. And some companies are already doing it, hiring international, like you said, hiring cultural diverse, and they will actually have a competitive advantage on the market.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you think about Germany, is a very diverse country at the moment. It has a lot of people with migration background, like quite a large percentage of 80 million people. So I don't know the percentage, but I know it's large. So when you're building stuff for this market and you don't have teams representing the diversity of the market, plus 50% women, right? So let's not forget about that. So when you're building things for this market, but the builders do not represent the market, then you don't really build the products that are going to be successful.
That's a consequence,
Right. I mean, like, there's so many things in history, like there's a whole book about a lot of the products that were built by men for men. Damn it, the name of the book now.
Now, at the end, we usually ask, how can others involve in your project? So how can they support you? Now, you are a single business model offering coaches, but still, do you see some support in your or supporting possibilities in your business? Can people support you?
Well, if you know a colleague or you yourself, feel like you want to improve your inclusive leadership skills or data leadership skills, get in touch. And or if you the same, if you know a colleague or if you have a person in your team that you don't know how to reach anymore, and you think that they might need help with a different perspective, because if you think about it, I think in leadership I had the feeling when I was working at some point in tech, it's like it feels at some point that leadership is really being a psychiatrist, but none of us really have the education for that, right? I mean, like, we don't learn, learning one semester in school of psychology, psychiatry, like, that doesn't really qualify us, right? But we are working with humans, and it's easy to write a program, but then working with humans is a little bit, more challenging. And every human is different in different ways, not just the things you see on the outside, but like the things that are, below the surface.
Okay, so, Thank you. We will link your website in the episode so that people can see your webpage and what you are offering. And you also are almost very fluent in German, but we decided spontaneously to do this episode in English. So, if you are open to coachings and trainings in inclusive and data leadership, Tereza is the woman to go to. So thank you very much for attending this episode today, Tereza. It was a pleasure for me to talk to you.
Thank you, Zamina. Likewise.